Oi. Hello there. Okay, let me call Marcos, who will be our guest today. Just 1 second. Okay, here we go. Hi, Marcos.
Hola Berta, ¿qué tal? ¿Me escuchas
Bien.
bien?
Sí, perfecto. ¿Y tú?
Ok. Bien, muy bien. Aquí
Ok.
estamos.
Si no te importa, pasamos a inglés, ¿vale?
Yeah, of
Para
course.
nuestra audiencia. Okay, great.
Perfect.
Well, hi, Marcos. Thank you very much for joining us today here on the
Thank you very
first
much for inviting
uh,
me.
it's a pleasure. On the first Licrox IGLive session. And well, the goal of these videos will be to explore a bit the lives and the research behind the people doing the project. So if you don't mind, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you and what you like and where are you from, what are you doing now, for instance?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm Marcos Gil Sepulcre. I'm 31 years old, and basically I was born in Valencia. I did my bachelor in chemistry in the University of Valencia and my master thesis as well. And afterwards, I'm motivated by the artificial photosynthesis. I moved to the Autonomous University of Barcelona, and I conducted my PhD in chemistry with Xavier Sala. And afterwards, I came to Tarragona, where I'm living right now, and basically here I'm working with Professor Tony Llobet in the field of artificial photosynthesis too.
Okay.
Yes, this is a bit.
And can you tell us a bit about your uh, project? About your thesis. What was it about?
My thesis, well, basically my thesis I was working with transition metal complexes, and what I was doing is designing catalysts for water splitting reaction. Water splitting is basically that we oxidize the water, producing protons, electrons, and oxygen as a side product, and we use these protons and electrons to in the reduction sites in order to produce hydrogen as a solar fuel.
Okay.
So basically, I was focused on the design and characterization of the different catalysts. That is the molecule that is facilitating all this process.
Okay. Okay. So you were already interested in artificial photosynthesis. Is this what you want? Is one of your goals as a researcher, or what would
Well,
your goals be?
yes, I mean, this is what I like. Of course, I would like to change a little bit the field and open my mind to different things. But I really find I find really interesting the study of all this kind of reaction and the development of this kind of device that I hope in the future they facilitate the harvesting of the sunlight in order to produce solar fuels, and then will not depend of the fossil fuels that right now are probably around the 80% of the energy is produced with this kind of fossil fuels. So yes, I would like to continue in this field.
Okay. And was it this what made you become a scientist, or what were your first hopes? Why?
No, well, since I was really young, since I was a child, I really liked science. I was not really. I didn't know if I wanted to be chemist or other kind of science, but I really like it. So, well, I just finally joined to chemistry, and yes, regarding academia, I was not really sure when I finished my bachelor. So I started working for some months in a company, but I didn't really like it. And finally, I decided to do a master thesis in the University of Valencia, and I joined to the lab, and I really like it. I really like to do research, and that's why finally I'm here. And well, I like this. Yes, I would like to continue.
Great. Okay. And okay, so now you've been working, after your thesis and as a postdoc, you've been working as a postdoc here at ICIQ for 3 years now.
Yes.
Okay. So how have you evolved as a scientist? I mean, are you doing now what you thought you would be doing like 5 or 10 years ago? Are there
Well,
any surprises?
10 years ago, no. I think that in general, uh, in science, you are constantly evolving. I think that is a constant challenge because you always have to learn new things. So 10 years ago, I didn't know anything, and probably right now I don't know anything neither. But a bit more maybe. But
Yeah, come on.
yes, I really think that I have evolved a lot, of course, and I will evolve a lot in the future, hopefully. Yes.
And do you think that in 5 or 10 years you will still be working on artificial photosynthesis, or do you have?
Oof, I don't know. I don't really know. I cannot tell you. I think that you cannot make too many plans in science. But yes, I would like to continue in academia and I would like to work in energy-related reactions. But we will see.
Oh well,
It's hard to say where I will be or what I will be doing in 10 years.
yeah, you can make your plans, but life makes others, no? Okay, so can you tell me a bit about the Licrox project? How do you see it?
Well, I think that it's a very challenging and ambitious project because basically you are taking all these draws that you do in the paper and all the expertise that you have, and you are combining all these different research with other researchers that they are also experts in the fields, and basically all together we try to develop this device, this photoelectrochemical cell that is theoretically will be able to harvest the sunlight and produce solar fuels. And I think that is really interesting because one group has a background in some field, something characteristic. For example, we work on the catalyst, but it's interesting to combine these catalysts, and in the future we'll have to combine it with some, for example, semiconductors that provokes the charge separation, and also this with a cathode that basically the cathode does the reduction reaction, and then at the end the development of this kind of cell, of this kind of device, requires the cooperation of so many different groups, and I think Licrox is really interesting because it puts all the groups together. And yes.
How is the? I mean, from what I understand, each group, no, from the at least the 4 academic partners of the consortium is like in charge of a specific part of the device. So how do you integrate all the knowledge generated? Well, I mean, I guess you haven't yet because it just started.
Well, basically, we have meetings for updating the different groups about the work and for explaining all of us the evolution of the research that we are doing. And of course, we have this is a general meetings where we all talk, and later we have work package meetings. We have different work packages that we have a closer interaction with the different groups. And basically, we have discussions every month in order to check how can we combine these technologies. And yes, this is a bit the point. And later in the future, of course, there is a timing. In the future, we will put everything together and we will test the device.
Yeah, that must be exciting.
Sounds promising.
Yeah. Okay, so in the future, when you put all the parts together and the project becomes a real
Sorry,
device.
I couldn't. Can you repeat it?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it was cutting a little bit.
Okay. So in the future, when you put all the parts together of the device, do you think because that is the main outcome of the project, do you think this will be a game changer in the energy field?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think that if we are able to make it work and it's working really good, we will demonstrate that all these systems that we have, all the molecular systems that we produce, and also in combination with the semiconductors and everything is efficient, and we can produce a clean energy well, basically solve clean wells. And I think that yes, it will be a game changer in the field.
Okay. Okay, and recently Licrox has published its first paper.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about it? Could you explain it to a lay audience? At least its
Yes.
main
Well,
points.
so what we're trying to do in general in artificial photosynthesis to harvest the sunlight, and in this case, in Licrox project, we are trying to harvest the sunlight and use this energy to oxidize water and use the protons and electrons to reduce CO2 to solar fuels. So basically, our group is in charge of developing and studying the water oxidation catalyst and also the CO2 reduction catalyst in collaboration with Rafaela Bolsanti.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this paper is focused on the water oxidation side, the anode, where the oxidation of water to oxygen, protons, and electrons is happening. And this paper studies a new family of copper complexes. That copper is a cheaper metal in comparison with other noble metals that we were using before, and studies the performance of these copper catalysts and how they oxidize with water.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so do you think that being part of the Licrox project will help you achieve, grow as a researcher and achieve your goals?
Well, yes, I think that is a great opportunity to interact with other scientists. Of course, my background was focused a little bit on the catalysis and the catalyst and studying the catalyst. And with this Licrox project, I have been interacting with all these scientists that are also working on the semiconductors, also working in the final performance of the cell, combining our catalyst with metals. I think that, yes, I opened my mind and I learned a lot about different kind of techniques and also research. And I think that, yes, from this point of view, it was really good for me to participate in this project. And I knew a lot of new people, and it's really useful for making contacts and networking in general.
Okay.
I think it will be helpful for my future.
I'm sure it will. Excellent. Okay, so reach this point of the interview, we're almost halfway through. I wanted to remind the audience that if you have any questions that you want to ask Marcos or about the project, about whatever, just remember that you can always write them down on the chat and we'll address them as soon as we can. Okay, so moving on, I wanted to ask you about what do you think is the perception of society regarding artificial photosynthesis and renewable energies?
Well, I think that maybe the perception so many years ago, it was not really relevant, but I think that right now with all the global warming that is becoming important, I think that the perception is much better. I think that people in general understand that we need to do something with the energy. We cannot consume fossil fuels forever. They are limited, and I really think that they know that renewable energies are the future. Yes, this is what I feel.
Okay. Oh, so now just Marta Ventosa just asked a few questions in the chat. I think we worked together before.
Okay. Do you think society values science enough? Do you think that society might misinform the project scientists carry out? Well, regarding the science, I think that right now, in general, I think that with this pandemic and this COVID, the society realized that the science is the future, and of course we have this crisis, and well, the vaccine, right, that was developed by scientists is what is going to save all of us, basically. And I think that during the last 2 years, unfortunately, we discovered that, and it was much more clear. So I think that the general perception of science is quite good, but of course could be better. Yes. and misinformed about the projects. Well, it's true that maybe the science is not accessible to everyone, and maybe we should try to maybe explain in an easier way to people that has a different background what we do. But we can do some efforts on that. We can always improve, of course.
And do you have any ideas on how to do that?
Well, no, but maybe
it's not easy, but
it's not easy, right? But some scientific journal that is super generic and explains everything in an easier way. I don't know, some divulgation. I don't really.
That would be cool, I have to say.
Yeah, that could be good, but it requires some effort.
Okay, so aside from being a scientist and loving your research, I guess you like doing other stuff. So for instance, I know that you play a guitar. I think it's guitar, right, in a band?
Yes.
Can you tell us what led you to join the band in the first place?
Well, in fact, it was a bit funny because we were having some beers. I mean, I was having some beers with Eric from the ICIQ, and he was also playing bass in a band in Manresa a long time ago, and I am playing in a band in Barcelona. I'm playing guitar, and basically we thought that it could be interesting to do something here in Tarragona, and then we start talking about that, and we look for other musicians in ICIQ, and well, basically then we formed a band, like it was 1.5 years ago, I think. And unfortunately, because COVID, we were not able to do any performance. I think that we did one the last year, but it was just for 15 persons, very separate, everyone with masks. Well, hopefully.
Sitting down.
Yes, exactly, of course.
Yeah, not the ideal concert.
But well, we'll see. Maybe in the future we can do something.
I bet. And because I was wondering, I mean, both science and music require very long hours to study. And have you learned anything from chemistry that you can apply to music, or vice versa? Anything from music that you can apply to your academic career?
Well, first of all, I'm far from being a professional guitar player, so it doesn't require me too much time right now. But for me, it's much more like a hobby. So it's like so you are working so many hours in the lab, you are super focused on research and science, and then whenever you finish, you like to do something that you like. So I take music or playing like a way of switching off my mind, stop thinking about research, and just do something that I like, playing with some friends. So I don't really know if I learn something from science to music or vice versa. I don't think so. I think that they're different. They're passionate stuff, but so different. So
yeah. That's good. Okay, so the feminist here is asking us if you can tell us a bit more about your life outside the lab.
Outside the lab, well. So as I said, I like music and I'm playing a band, but I don't like so many weird stuff. I just like hiking, traveling, drinking beers with friends, just going out and visiting places. Movies, the beach, yes, the typical things. I don't have very weird hobbies.
If you had to recommend like a hike around Tarragona, around the Tarragona area, or in Catalonia in general, which one would you recommend?
Well, I went to Siurana and I think it's super nice also. Also for summer because yes, exactly. There is a kind of lake, more or less.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it in English.
Yes. Well, you can basically walk around, and you also reach these natural pools that you can stop there, and it's super nice. Especially for summer, it's super nice. So yes, I recommend this area.
Excellent. And any I mean, Laura also asked if that you live in Tarragona now. Are you, because you're from Valencia originally?
Yes, exactly.
So how do you like living in Tarragona? What do you recommend? What would you recommend to people who don't live here?
Well, yes, Tarragona has so many options. I mean, here, Tarragona, the weather, for example, is perfect. So you can go to the beach even in October or May. You can already go there. So this is a super good activity because the beach is close to the city. It's basically, you can just go by walking. And well, these kind of things. Also, you can visit of the monuments of the Roman Empire. I think that there are too many things to do. And yes, it's a really nice city. I come from Valencia and Barcelona, so it's a bit smaller for me, but I like it. It's really comfortable, and the environment, especially in summer, is amazing.
But and from the Roman monuments, which one is your go-to monument, or if you have one, of course?
This amphitheater, I think it's super nice. Yes,
Yeah.
and also, in fact, if you go to so many restaurants, they are basically inside from Roman monuments and some walls. And this is really amazing. You can go to a pub for drinking a beer or something, and you are inside a monument. So this is super good.
Yeah, that's
Yes, I think
still,
that
no, it's quite unique.
but everything is nice. Yes.
Okay. Um, okay. So we're reaching like the end of the interview now. We still have 4 questions left. Um, are you waiting for, I mean, what is the invention that you wish was already here that you're waiting for someone to invent?
That's a hard question. Well, I think that wherever is helping to improve the health of the people in the world around the world, like I think it could be super good. Like, for example, to something that stops the suffering of some people that has cancer, or right now with COVID. Well, I know that we have a vaccine, but it would be super nice to have a super cheap, efficient, and also uh, one-shot vaccine that we could really vaccinate all the people around the world, not only rich countries, right? So that would be super good. Yes, but I think that something related with the health, I think, would be a good invention. Whatever.
Okay. Okay, we have another question from the audience.
Hmm.
The feminist is asking if you have ever considered continuing your career in North America.
Well, yes, of course. I think that North America is one of the best places for going for a postdoc and continue your career. The research there is super good, and also the funding is super good. But I wanted to be here because basically the family and friends, and I want to be in Europe. Yes, so that's why I decided to stay here, more or less. Yes, in Europe
Okay.
in general.
Okay, because we heard that you're moving soon to Germany. Is that
Yes,
so? Okay,
yes. Well,
can you tell us a bit about it? Where you're going exactly? What will you do there? I mean, we'll miss you,
yes,
but we want to know.
I will go to the northwest of Germany. The city is called Mulheim, I think, but my German pronunciation is not good yet.
Difficult.
So I hope I will learn German in the future. But basically, I'm going to Mulheim, and I will be working in the Max Planck Institute for Chemical Energy Conversion. And particularly, I will be working with Serena De Beer, that is an expert in spectroscopy. So I will be basically studying the catalyst from the spectroscopy point of view and trying to understand the the mechanism of reaction for different kind of reaction, but in general, energy related processes. Yes.
Excellent. Oh, that sounds great.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, and lastly, I would like to ask you if you could show us the lab where you actually work every day and show us a bit around.
Yes, of course. I will put the mask
Excellent.
and the Googles and everything, and we can go there.
Great. Okay, Marta has another question in the meantime. They all congratulate you. And she also
Okay.
asked, what do
Yes.
you expect to learn from your stay in Germany, both inside and outside the lab?
Well, uh, inside, of course, right now I have my background in electrochemistry and the synthesis and design of the catalyst, but I would like to learn the part of the spectroscopy that we will have for understanding the real structure that we have when we have a catalytic cycle. So this is what I expect to learn. Yes, more or less. So there is a very huge spectroscopic toolkit that I would like to learn, and we'll see if I can do it.
I'm sure it will. Great. Okay.
And outside, well, I will. Can you hear me, Berta?
Okay, sorry.
Berta?
Yeah, the connection just broke for a
Okay.
minute there.
So
Hi?
outside, well, I can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
Hola?
perfect. So I think that outside we will see what happens there. But I think that I don't know what I expect to learn, but we will see. I'm going to the venture a little bit.
I'll be the German for sure, no?
That's for sure. The language, for sure. Okay, so I will go to the lab now.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Actually, we have two labs right now. One is the 1.2 here, but I will go to the main lab where we're working
Okay.
for the last 10 years, maybe.
Wow,
So,
that's a long time.
well, no I was not working, but yeah, but group one.
Okay.
But this is a bit the laboratory here,
Oh, wait, it's
solar
breaking now.
generator, also the manometry setup, and basically in the left-hand side we have all the fume hoods where we are doing the synthesis and other kind of reactions. And here we have much more fume hoods and a glove box that is basically where what we use for handling sensitive compounds. And well, here we have our best friend that is basically the potentiostat. The potentiostat that is basically giving or taking electrons for triggering the reactions that we are doing.
Okay, so that is where you're sitting usually? I mean, is that your spot?
Yes, this is what we are usually doing. Synthesizing the catalyst, and later we are just testing them by electrochemistry or photoelectrochemistry, or we are just doing photocatalytic experiments.
Okay. And can you tell us a bit what you're working on now, today?
Yes, well, in general, I'm working with molecular or oligomeric catalysts that we anchor different kind of supers, basically graphite, and we are basically using them for water splitting and also for CO2 reduction reaction. This is what we are working right now.
Okay. So it's directly related to the Licrox project then?
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. Okay, and someone also asked way before that, how did you manage to work during the pandemic? Was it difficult to manage lab work?
Well, of course, during the first 2 months of pandemic, we were having this confinement, so it was impossible to work in the lab. This time was a bit hard, of course, because from the you could not do absolutely anything in the lab, and also you were not able to see any friend or family or whatever. Afterwards, we had this shift, and well, in general, I think that it was the ICIQ did it really good, and we were able um, to work more or less okay. Yes, we're having shifts and we're working, or say 7-8 hours per day. So it was hard because you had to schedule your experiments very well, but it was okay. After some time, you got used to do it.
Yeah, great. Okay. Okay, so I think we covered everything here. I don't know if the audience has any other questions left that they want to ask, but otherwise, I think this was a great interview, Marcos. I don't know if you want to say any goodbye to the audience or the people at ICIQ listening from
Well, no.
their
Thank you very
offices.
much for inviting me to stay here today, and well, I hope people knows a bit more what we are doing and in general the Licrox projects. Yes, that's all.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us, and best of luck in Germany. We'll hope to see you around though before December. No, you leave or something like that, I think.
Yeah, I will leave. Yeah, December, January. Yes, I
Okay,
will
so
go
we'll
there in
still
January.
have you for a while here.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much, Marcos.
Thank you very much, Gilberta.
Take care.
See you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.